We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the WGNS Action Line, talking with Rutherford County newsmakers about what matters most to you. Now, your host, Bryan Barrett.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Action Line. We are so happy to have you along with us today, and we're talking all about Rutherford County schools. It's going to be a great day, I can already tell. We've got joining us in studio this morning, the Chief Communications Officer, James Evans. Good morning. Happy New Year and all.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You brought a very special guest, one of my favorite people in the world today.
Mine too. So this is Dr. Kay Martin, who is our Deputy Superintendent.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good to have you. So you got to tell me, what was your radio nickname from Jeff Jordan? Do you remember?
Yes. I had a few from him.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, the more nicknames you have, the more loved you are. That's what they say.
That's right.
I think he called me the Roadrunner, and had a nice little noise to go with that I will not try to replicate. And then also Special K. I think
Special K.
Yep.
I like that one.
There was an article once, and
oh, nice.
Yep. So that was the headline with that. So.
Cool days, weren't they?
They were. That was a lifetime ago, but yes, those were the good old days for sure.
They do seem like a long time ago. I spent my high school years broadcasting with him. So
yeah. So I that funny story. Jeff Jordan used to pick me up when I was in elementary school, middle school, and he would pick me up and I would go and keep the stats with him.
Really?
I would. I would go to Sparta with him, wherever he was going, and keep the stats with him. And, you know, a lot of times I was watching my sister play anyway, so we would go and I'd keep the stats, and every now and then he'd get me to say a few words.
Oh, you almost had a radio career. I mean, you know.
Almost. I learned quickly I'm better keeping the stats behind the scenes than maybe that voice for the radio.
I mean, you probably also learned quickly that it doesn't pay. So, but I can't figure that out still to this day, I guess. But glad to see Sis has made her way back to the home.
Yes,
home place.
She is gone back to her alma mater and just loves it there. You know, once a Patriot, always a Patriot. So that's really a cool full circle for her to come back. And Oakland High School, the community, you know, we were born and raised there, and it's given so much to us and my sister and my family, and our best memories are definitely some of those years there. And so I was right after her. So for 8 solid years, you know, my parents never missed a game. And it's just a very special place to us. So for her to come back and be a part of that and be an impact and influence on those students and players now and those student athletes, that's definitely an honor.
Yeah. Well, between Eagleville football and Oakland basketball now, I mean, we did an Oakland game, I guess, the last week before the Christmas break, and John was heckling your parents. I don't know why he does that every time he sees them, but you know, they've seen thousands of games over the years, haven't they?
They have, and you know, my dad still goes to almost all of the MTSU games and loves that. Has been a season ticket holder there for years, and you know,
he'll go to Blackman every now and then.
He'll go to Blackman every now and then to see Brad, but yeah, it definitely keeps them young, and they are big-time competitors.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that my mom is amazing and sweet, and she is all of those things. But I will tell you, she is the biggest competitor in my family, and that's saying a lot for our family.
Wow.
Yes.
That is saying a lot.
Yes.
Gosh, I guess it was it last year at Region Tournament in Lebanon that we saw you and Brad and the family? I think it was. It's been a while ago.
So, you know, Brad, his dad, was a coach in Mount Juliet for many years.
Okay.
You know, the basketball court's named after him there, and so won a state championship there. And so going back to Lebanon, and he was there, and Brad's sister and her daughter is actually a manager for the women's basketball team at Lebanon. So, you know, we're definitely a basketball sports family. So that was kind of neat to go back to his hometown and where he graduated from and cheer them on. Came up a little short that game, but it was a fun game.
Well, you know, fun memories. And I mentioned that at that time, do you get to see each other? This time of the year, probably not very much.
No, his role's a little bit different this year, and so I have to tell you that was actually one of our conversations over Christmas that he was home, and so it was actually nice to see him and be together, and he's still helping coach grandstaff and that type of thing, but he's not at all of the games this year. So that was really nice for our family. That was the first time, and I guess we've been married almost 25 years, so that was really nice.
I bet. Special times, and I know you've spent some special times on road trips and things like that too. So I mean, that's all part of being a family that's so involved in Rutherford County schools. And Kay, part of the reason that I thought about mentioning that is, that's your story. Dr. Sullivan has a story, but everyone is so invested in Rutherford County schools. And you mentioned a word a second ago, giving back, being a part, once a patriot, once a county schools student, you have a desire to do what's best for the system and for each kid that's in the system.
Most definitely. I mean, we're invested. We're long term here. We've been students here. Now we're employees of Rutherford County Schools, and you always want to leave something better than you found it. We still have a long way to go. Yeah. Retirement is not in the near future, but it has just given us so much as people, and it's made us who we are. And then to be able to work and support our schools and our students now in our capacity, and knowing how it affected us and our future so many years ago. And now that we can have that influence and that impact on those students, and hopefully this will be their home forever, like it's our forever home too.
Well, and, I don't want to get into, back in my day kind of things, but the school system is a lot different. I mean, probably over doubled in size since, that many years ago. And I know the number of schools have, and just the number of students. And so things are different, but some things should be the same. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Like
those
you said,
experiences.
Not to age ourselves, but I don't have a problem. I'm 49 years old. My parents live in the same home that I came home from the hospital in, and so I live 3 miles from them now. Born and raised here, stayed here. When I went to high school, I remember when Smyrna and Laverne High School were built, the new buildings where they are now. But there was really only 4 high schools in Rutherford County. I remember when I started teaching here in Rutherford County, and there was only, I think, 24 schools in our whole district now, and now we have 52 schools, with our 53rd being built currently. And that's something that Dr. Sullivan and I constantly talk about, that is a focus for us. So we were a student. People knew us by name. We still see our former teachers out all the time. They still know us by name. We want to do the same for that. Even though we're growing, even though we've doubled in our size and our buildings and our capacity, we want to keep that small town feel. We've been very successful here in Rutherford County, and that's because of those relationships, and because students are not just numbers. But they are individual people, and we're trying to make sure that they are known and that they are heard and they're supported. And then also all the different programs, we are providing those different programs and ultimately those opportunities for them, so that they can hopefully be ready post-secondary and then come back and be very productive citizens for Rutherford County.
We have joining us from Rutherford County Schools today, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Kay Martin and James Evans, Chief Communications Officer. These, between Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Martin, they make your job pretty easy in terms of selling Rutherford County Schools, I'd say, James.
They absolutely do, yeah. They're great ambassadors, of course, because, of course, they're products of the school system. Yeah. But, I probably represent the other half of the families in the school system. My family and I moved here. My wife and I, when we were young, newly married. And now we're raising our family here. And there's a lot of families in the county here doing that as well. We're not from California. Just go ahead and say that, because there's a lot of people moving here from California, and that's nothing wrong with that. We have an In-N-Out burger now. So
That's right.
There's benefits.
They feel at home, I guess.
But yeah, I started here. This is my 22nd school year. So when I started, we had fewer than 30,000 kids, and now we have nearly 52,000. So we have grown so much in that time. And you said it changed a lot since you were in school. It's changed a lot since I started here. So when we hit number 50, when we opened up Plainview a few years ago, I thought, wow, 50 schools, who would ever thought? And we didn't even pause. We have so much growth here. We got to keep going. So 53 is about to come online now.
Yeah. And that's what, I guess, fall?
August, yeah.
August.
Yeah, our principal, April Sneed, she started her new role last week. So she's at the central office getting everything lined up and, starting the hiring process and finishing the last phases of construction and design and just all that culture building that you start at the beginning of a new school. So it's just incredible.
And I know Siegel High School's Stephen Wayne. I got to see him over the Christmas break and congratulate him on taking over for Larry Creasy, who is going to join you all in the central office. We told Larry he's going to have to wear a tie every now and then now, so,
we told him the same thing.
Okay.
So, I'm excited. Mr. Creasy's been a great principal, but we're in that Siegel pipeline too. My kids, I've got one in Siegel Middle now and one right behind him. And so I'm excited to see what, just some new ideas that spark for Siegel.
Yeah. Stephen will do a wonderful job out there for sure. And that as we look back over 2025, anybody, either one of you can chime in or both, some areas that we can look back on and, I know that the schools, we're talking about very high levels of achievement in 2025. So any of those things that either one of you would like to bring up?
Yeah, we're very proud of our achievement. There's some, like I said, we always have some focus areas. Dr. Sullivan is very goal-oriented, very driven, amazing leader. But one of his goals this year is consistency. And we are proving that. We have been a leader in education, not only in the state but nationally, and we continued that this year. So this year we were a level 5 district for the 6th year in a row. A lot of times level 5, that means your growth, so how much you grew students from the first day of school to the end of school. A lot of times you may see districts that go back and forth. There'll be a level 5, which is the highest, and then they may be a level 3, and then back to a level 5. And so really that consistency year after year, 6 years in a row, that we are very proud of that achievement. Not only were we a level 5 district, but we were the highest growing district in achievement or in growth for the entire state of Tennessee. And so we were very proud of that. A lot of times as you see student enrollment go up, you see achievement growth go down, and that has not been the case for Rutherford County. Again, a focus for us, we want to continue that even though we grow, continue to know our students and grow our students and meet them where they are and help them meet their future goals. We also had 32 level 5 schools. That was the most that we've ever had, so we were very proud of our individual schools too. Just a great achievement to really grow our students and help them to, wherever they are on day one, to be better at the end of the year. And then we also had our reward schools that was released. We had over 80% of our schools were all A's and B's. We had 26 A award schools. And so that's just an amazing feat by them. So that means that they are helping those students achieve proficiency levels and beyond. So we're growing students and they're meeting the proficiency levels. And out of that, we had our most ever reward schools. That's taking all of the data and considering that. And out of our 52 schools, and not all of those are eligible for reward school status, so less than 50 of them are that. So we had 28 reward schools across the district, so we were very proud of that.
Yeah, that's over a majority. Anything for you?
Well, what's incredible about that is the consistency. And so, 6 years in a row, not many can say that, like Dr. Martin was mentioning a minute ago. And so we hope that reputation is permeating out there. And we think it is. That's part of the growth, is that people move here knowing their children are going to receive a good education. And so it's one reason they stay. There's always room for improvement, of course, and we focus on those things too. But we get kids from so many different places. Dr. Sullivan mentions this a lot, is that our goal is when they get here, no matter where they come in academically, we want to see them grow. And a level 5 means that they grew more than a year's worth of expected growth. A level 3 is just a normal year, which is great. Sure. A level 5 means they grew beyond that. So we are consistently taking them more than a year's worth of growth within a year, which is just a testament to the professionalism of our administrators and our teachers and our EAs, everyone who supports the student.
Well, and you bring up a good point. You move from, another state, move to Rutherford County. Your state's maybe standards are different and levels are different, and so maybe a student comes in, and if they're, say, a half a year behind in algebra, how do we not only get them to level but also above level? And so that's what you're saying is kind of happening
right
here.
We can't change their past, but we can definitely affect their future. That's what we focus on.
Well, if you've got any questions, if you'd like to text those in to me, 615-893-1450, 615-893-1450. We'll be sure to ask those and try to get some questions answered there. We are going to look ahead to 2026 and some of the needs, and as we grow, the need for more classrooms, all that. So that conversation is straight ahead here on the Action Line this morning. We've reached the just about halfway point here in our conversation, so we invite you to stay with us from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. Fireplaces crackling, the coffee brewing, new calendars on the wall. MTE helps to keep fresh starts going in 2026. That's from our friends at Middle Tennessee Electric, keeping you warm this winter, or cool on a day like today. Maybe need a little AC. Stay with us. More to come here on the Action Line this morning, talking Rutherford County Schools.
This message brought to you by the Central Tennessee Regional Solid Waste Planning Board. Visit RecycleRightTN.com for tips, ideas, and locations on where to recycle near you.
Don't be trashy, recycle classy, recycle right, Tennessee.
Recycling isn't just about tossing materials in a bin, it's about knowing which materials are accepted. Go to RecycleRightTN.com.
Recycle right, Tennessee.
Does your home need freshening up? Let our family at Farrah Construction help you. We do painting, new flooring, anything that you need. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Farrah Construction offers high-quality craftsmanship, quick response, and attention to detail. For home restoration at a price you can afford, Farrah Construction can get the job done no matter how big or small it is. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Holden Hardware has been serving the hardware needs of this community since 1948. This is Raleigh Holden Jr. I want to thank our many customers who have helped to keep us in business all these years. I also want to invite those who may be new to this community or have not been in the store lately to visit us. Come experience a unique hardware buying atmosphere with wood floors, old furniture and fixtures, along with a helpful and knowledgeable sales staff. Holden Hardware on the west side of the public square since 1948.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
This is Peter Demas inviting you to enjoy a meal with our family at Demas's Restaurant. With cold and flu season here, nothing helps my family more than having the Demas's baked chicken and rice soup. It was a soup that was created by my grandmother, and we not only sell it by the cup, but we also sell it by the quart, by the half gallon, and by the gallon. So stop by anytime today and bring soup to your family that may be sick, or a friend that's sick, or just to enjoy it just because it tastes so good. Demas's Restaurant.
Morning, that earlier wreck in Antioch had traffic a little bit slow up through there a few minutes ago on 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Again, it's pretty busy coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County into that section of Davidson County on 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. It's slow. 65 south at Trinity Lane. It continues to build in through Wilson County on 40 west headed over into Hermitage. When you need dependable towing for a car or a big truck, it doesn't matter. Call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Now, here's your Rutherford weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies here this afternoon with a high in the mid-60s. Tonight, partly cloudy skies develop, a low near 45. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Currently, it's 57.
FM 1019, FM 100.5, WGNSradio.com. The Good Neighbor Network. The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
We're talking all about Rutherford County schools today, and if you've got any questions, text. I've got a couple there that I will get to here in just a second. 615-893-1450 is the phone number, and we have Deputy Superintendent Dr. Kay Martin here, Chief Communications Officer James Evans, and let's look ahead to 2026. James mentioned school number 53 coming online, so that would be Poplar Hill Middle School, right?
That's right. It's
okay.
Basically on the same campus as the existing elementary school. We bought enough land there to put both schools, and so it's well underway. I believe it's ahead of schedule, looking great. So at first people were like, what's going up behind the elementary school?
Yeah.
And then it quickly shaped up to be a school. So, yeah.
Well, and that's going to be opening in the fall. That is one of the questions with the growth and things that we have talked about here this morning, Dr. Martin. Right now, I guess it's the planning phase for what's even beyond school number 53. Would that be right?
Absolutely. We're always looking ahead. And if you look back, starting the early 2000s, we've built a lot of schools, obviously. I've talked to you a little bit about when I first started, and we've doubled in size. And, there were many years we built one school per year, and then we kind of held off for a little bit, but we're kind of back to that phase of needing to build schools just about every school year.
So that leads me to one of the questions that I had written down here, because it kind of seems like we're in a situation where, where's the right information? Where in the road are we here in this? Because I know the Rutherford County Commission has got some really tough decisions to make, and obviously they fund Rutherford County schools. It makes up somewhere around 80% or so of the total county budget. And I was not here that day, but I did listen to Mayor Carr, who was on the air, and he was talking about, well, we need to build a jail. We also have this proposal to build schools. I don't think we can do both. So where are we in that whole process?
Yeah, we understand Rutherford County, the county commissioners, they have big decisions to make for Rutherford County. We completely understand that, completely respect that. Dr. Sullivan, Rutherford County Schools, our responsibility is to advocate for our students and look at their needs and our growth and our trends and what we see coming down the road. And so that's what we have to advocate for. Just like Mayor Carr, he has to advocate for his priorities and his needs. We completely respect that. But as far as the school system, we have to advocate for our students. And so we've had Poplar Hill Elementary we've opened this year. We'll have the middle school opening next year. We've also had 4 renovations at 4 of our high schools, our older high schools. Also trying to maintain the buildings that we have as well. And so we have plans for, our next build. We would like to build a high school. And then we also have some more renovations that we need to keep up with as well.
Building a high school seems to be more painful. And I guess it's just because it's a bigger campus. More students, more capacity. Would that be a fair assessment?
Absolutely. You have more students, you have more capacity. We also have more programs that we offer them, different program when you look into our career and technical programs. Mm-hmm. And so making those decisions of what programs do we have at schools currently, what programs do we need to add to, which programs would be best for the students in this area. You also have all of your extracurricular, you now have students that drive to school, and you have student parking. Mm-hmm. You have the extracurricular activities that you and I spoke of earlier that's so important for our high school students and long-lasting impact on their lives. So there's just all of those different variables and added variables that you have to consider with a high school.
There's a request from 4654 on text to put a pool at the new high school. So there you go. You can add that to your list of items. But, I guess it's just Oakland and Riverdale and Smyrna and Laverne that have one.
That is correct.
So
that is correct.
I guess
so
there's pressure there.
We are having to share, they're not wrong, we're having to share those 4 pools with all of the different high schools. So that is a scheduling challenge, and we understand that. Plus
the middle schools too, really.
Absolutely. Right? And those pools, again, are 50 years plus
That's
at
true.
Oakland and Riverdale, and so maintaining those as well, and not so the maintenance alone on those as well is a challenge for us. They're correct.
So is there a proposal before the county commission? Are we at that point yet, or are there just discussions for, you mentioned a high school and maybe renovations to other schools. Is that the proposal?
Yes, sir. Currently we are have a contract. It has not gone through with property on Lee Road, but our next request on a build would be a high school, most likely on that Lee Road property.
So that is what, James, in the Stewart's Creek, Blackman area?
It's very close to Stewart's Creek. It's okay. Kind of in between Stewart's Creek and that Nolansville side of Laverne.
Okay. So a little further north than I thought. Yeah. So
it's really close to the Stewart's Creek campus, probably within 10 minutes of the existing campus. But that's where the growth that we're seeing primarily is through the corridor of I-24 and then 840 between here and Williamson County. That's where you're seeing a lot of the growth. There's growth all over, but that's kind of one of the hot spots. And, we're working with a company that we've been using for a few years that helped look at all of our existing zones, all of our existing facilities, and help tell us where we needed schools. And that's one of the areas that says we need a high school in that area.
Just one of the areas, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but the schools that we built, the Poplar Hill schools, that's part of that plan too. But if we don't do something with a high school, their projections are showing our other high schools in that area, and that's several. So Blackman, Stewart's Creek, Smyrna High, Laverne High would all get near 3,000 in just a few years. And so we don't want that, of course. And so we're trying to get ahead of the game and stay on it. And we know the county commission has a lot of different priorities, but like Dr. Martin said, our school board's role is to advocate for what we need and make sure that we're asking for what we need, and then work with them the best we can to get those funded.
Where in the world would you put 3,000 kids? Certainly not all in the building.
Well, we have added on to Smyrna High. That opened last year, and we have a new addition coming online with Laverne, but those will be full very quickly. So
yeah, but what is full is not 3,000. Full is under that, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think what is it, about 2,600?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you also have to think about not just the building themselves, but where we place these schools, and then, as you know, in Rutherford County, purchasing land and the availability of land and finding land in the right spot. That's why that Lee property was so appealing to us, even though it's so close to Stewart's Creek High School. But we just know in that Smyrna, Laverne area, right there on the line with Williamson County, with Davidson County, finding land when we can and making sure we're making that purchase, even if it's not for the immediate next year, but down the road as well. And that's kind of the idea behind that Lee Road property. You also alluded to just a little bit more with our high schools and what that takes to build those. You know, that's more of a 3-year project than, you know, a 18-month to 2-year project for our other elementary and middle schools.
So we're talking about, even if things get approved this fiscal year, we're 3 years away from that opening, probably, somewhere like that?
I think we're aiming for 2029 is what would be ideal.
Okay. So,
I mean, tomorrow would be ideal, but, you know,
right.
2029 is probably more realistic.
So if it opens in 2029, we're still that many years away, and, you know, we're going to continue to add more students, and so it doesn't sound like it's unavoidable that we're going to have some pressure on those North Rutherford County high schools.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't want to pause. If we can help it, we need to keep moving forward.
So another part of the conversation, I hate to keep going back to that, and I'm not trying to pit one against the other, but I'm trying to understand, there was mention that, you know, statistically, we're going to see the number of children being born go down, and then so that means less children in schools in years to come. You all are full of statistics. I know you have to have an answer for everything. It sounds like to me, in the near term at least, that's not going to be the case. But are you seeing that in the long term, that people just aren't having children at the rate that they used to?
So, Mr. Evans, he mentioned that we have hired a company, RSP, and they this is what they do for a living, you know, and they have been with us, I guess, 2 to 3 years now.
2022, yeah.
And so they are doing very in-depth study. One of those factors is birth rates, and so really looking at the past, looking at the present, and then predicting that future. We know that this current kindergarten class, we've actually gone down a little bit. Their numbers have told us that we are going to have less, but then for whatever reason, I think in 2021, we nailed that birth rate from that year. This upcoming kindergartners, they are predicting that that's going to increase again.
Okay, so
basically it's
this year's the
bump.
COVID year.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, I don't like that word either, but you know, that is interesting. So obviously, a lot of things, COVID skewed a lot of numbers, and I think that's a number that maybe is eventually going to be skewed. So we're going to see the numbers from 2021 and on maybe continue to increase some.
And, you know, that's just one factor.
Sure.
They're also looking at development buildings, you know, not only the ones that are currently being developed, but the ones that are being planned for the future. And, you know, we're not slowing down in building here in Rutherford County. So in education, I can go back to Mr. Odom, Mr. Gill, you know, something that they always used to say, if they build it, they will come. And so we are building those buildings. We're building not only commercial, but residential as well. And that's going to bring students with it.
You know, our guest today from Rutherford County Schools, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Kay Martin, and James Evans, the Chief Communications Officer, talking this morning. It's really interesting, the fact that Dr. Sullivan last year, I remember watching, that's what I do in my spare time, watch school board meetings. Not necessarily, but I did catch the one last year where he was talking about the fact that if we don't do some rezoning, how can I go before the county commission and say we need to build a new school? That was a painful thing that the board had to go through last year, and some this year, right?
Right.
So rezoning, that's one of questions here. If you've got to build, I'm paraphrasing from one of the text questions, but if we have to build more schools or we're going to have to do more rezoning, I just bought a house here. My kids, I'm sure you hear that all the time. So is there more rezoning that can help with this? And I know you get some advice from that. So either one of you on that.
So last year, our board, using RSP and some of their, they gave us some options to look at so that we could future-proof it as best as possible. We did the elementary and high school rezoning that went into effect with this current school year, and then middle school goes into effect next year. And we're trying to coincide the timing with the opening of the new middle school, because anytime you open a school, you have to create a zone for it. So that's gonna trigger a rezoning of some sort. But those were massive rezonings. They were district wide. We're hoping that when we open the next new school, it won't require a county wide. It may affect a few schools, but not all 12 high schools, for example. That's what we're hoping. But yeah, I mean, that's just, unfortunately, that's part of the growth here, is that we have to adjust zones to make sure we're using all of our schools as efficiently as possible before we can expect the commission to fund those. And I think we're doing that as best that we can. But when we open a new school, there will have to be rezoning with that too. Yeah.
Dual zones, is that something that is looked at each year? Is that something that's massaged into it, or is that kind of, this is the way it is now until, or does that give you some wiggle room?
So our high schools do have some dual zones now. Dr. Martin, do you want to say something?
Yes, I was just we do currently have dual zones for our high school. That will always be a board decision.
Okay.
And so that is something that they decided last year when we rezoned our high schools, was having that dual zone as an option. Actually, with the opening of Poplar Hill Middle in August, we have just completed middle school rezoning. So that was rezoning for all middle schools across the district. And with that, the school board did vote for 8th grade grandfathering. And so if that's something, we have any listeners out there, if you have a current middle school student who is a current 7th grader and you have been rezoned to a different school for your 8th grade year, right now we have an open window. They can go to our website. They have a deadline by January 16th. So that is a week from this Friday that they need to go in, fill out that form saying that they would like to request to keep their current 7th grade student who has been rezoned to a different middle school for next year, that they would like for them to remain or be grandfathered in to their current middle school for next school year.
Okay. And I'm sure the maps and where they're going to go to school, all of that's on the website somewhere.
That's on, if they go to our main website, that's going to be one of the first options with the scrolling at the top where they can select on that. That link will then take them to the web page that not only has all of the new zones, but it has all of the forms that they need to complete for that grandfathering option as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, our guest this morning from Rutherford County Schools, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Kay Martin, and also James Evans, the Chief Communications Officer. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back and get some final thoughts. So hope you'll stay with us here on the Action Line from WGNS. It's 8:52.
Hi, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Our prices are as good or better than the box stores. I don't think you'll do better by shopping online than you would by coming in. If you're into podcasting, we have starter kits that have everything you need to get started. The interface for your computer, microphone, headphones, you'll be online in no time. If you need a PA, you need lights, we've got all for rent. Music World and Drummers Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course.
The Recycled Minute with our own Rocky the Raccoon.
Don't bottle up your creativity. Reuse it.
Teachers, students, and eco-heroes, stay-at-home moms, everybody, listen up.
You can create mini greenhouses for seedlings with water bottles.
The Recycled Minute. Here's Rocky.
You know how families go through those water bottles. They buy them by the caseload each month. Once you're finished drinking the water out of them, obviously recycle some of them, but save some of them because you can slice off the bottom of them and then place it over a small plant. It'll then trap the warmth and moisture, help your garden grow while keeping plastic out of the landfill. That's just another idea for you. I'm Rocky the Raccoon with RecycleRightTN.com.
And that's today's Recycled Minute.
And I'm out of here.
With Rocky the Raccoon. Find the closest place to recycle near you by going to RecycleRightTN.com.
Together, we'll keep Tennessee beautiful.
Morning, that earlier wreck in Antioch had traffic a little bit slow up through there a few minutes ago on 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Again, it's pretty busy coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County into that section of Davidson County on 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. It's slow. 65 south at Trinity Lane. It continues to build in through Wilson County on 40 west headed over into Hermitage. When you need dependable towing for a car or a big truck, it doesn't matter. Call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Now, here's your Rutherford weather forecast.
We'll see mostly cloudy skies here this afternoon with a high in the mid-60s. Tonight, partly cloudy skies develop, a low near 45. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center.
Currently, it's 57.
We got some good neighbors and we like bragging on them. Nominate a good neighbor every day. Put it in writing on WGNS. WGNS. AM, FM, online. The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
We're back as we continue our conversation about Rutherford County Schools. Stay tuned. The roundtable coming up here in just a few moments. James Evans, Chief Communications Officer, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Kay Martin here today. We did have a text question about this, and this was one of the things that we had on the agenda already to talk about this morning. But choice schools, that deadline is coming up here real soon. And James, do you want to explain maybe what choice schools are and how that works and what the deadline is and all?
Absolutely. So a few years ago, the state changed how districts decide how to award zone exemptions. And so we have to use a random lottery now to do that and advertise those open seats for at least 30 days. We advertise them for 60. We started in December. The deadline is January 31st for parents to apply. They can do so online. But we have 15 open seats, at least 15 open seats at every zone school. Plus, we have our other choice schools like Central Magnet, McFadden, Thurman Francis, Campus School, those kinds of schools. All those are taking applications right now. Deadline is the 31st. And then those that are your typical zone schools, there is a lottery used, a random lottery used to decide who gets those seats. And then, of course, the magnet schools that are academic, based, those are ranked and chosen that way. But the big deadline there is January 31st. If we have any remaining seats after that, if they're not all filled, we'll do another round. But most of them go in that first round. And so people just need to get their applications in now.
So are there a certain number of schools that are the choice school designation, or how does that work?
Well, we are trying to offer more choice, so we have 15 seats at least at every zone school.
Every zone school. Okay. All right. So we're not talking about necessarily the McFaddens of the county school system.
No. Now, McFadden, Central are magnet schools. Those schools, they are taking applications right now as well, and the deadline is also the 31st. They have many more seats than 15. They're filling all of theirs, of course. Like McFadden, they're taking a ton of kindergartners because that's what they do. And Central takes their middle and high school students now, their incoming 6th graders, upcoming 9th graders, all those applications, a lot of seats open there as well. Okay.
Well, but there's a difference. The text here got me a little confused about those two things, and I think they were confused about it. So that is good information there.
Those magnet schools, those students will come in the elementary for Thurman Francis and for McFadden. They'll be tested, and then it's those top students academically. The Central Magnet School, Thurman Francis Middle School, those students they don't come in and take a test, but they use their past report cards and they use their past state testing. and they submit that information, and then those students are ranked academically by those standards. That's the difference between the magnet schools and the other zoned schools.
Okay.
Also, the 8th grade grandfathering is different for our students this year in that option. And that deadline, I just want to emphasize again, there's 2 different deadlines. And so we have to stick firm to those deadlines, so we don't want our parents to get those confused. So if you are a current 7th grader and you've been rezoned for your 8th grade year, but you want to stay at your middle school you are currently attending, then that deadline for parents to submit that grandfathering option will be January 16th. And then everyone else for those choice schools, you want to maybe go to a different elementary school or different middle or high school, then that deadline is the 31st.
Well, thanks for being here, both of you. Time flew this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Our conversation with Rutherford County Schools will be on our website as a podcast coming up shortly here on WGNS.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, flagship station for MTSU Sports. Courthouse clock time, 9 o'clock.